For 5 minutes, I guess.
We're live.
We're live?
Oh, we're live. There we go.
We're live. We're live. Yes, we are. And you guys weren't even saying anything interesting. This is like the worst you've done.
Well, that's because Caleb had just finished talking about sea shanties in Icelandic and ancient Greek.
Again.
Yeah.
Again. We were deep into what? Jonah.
By the way, look,
Canada's
Caleb's alive.
Hey, Stragak, Caleb was never in the basement. It was always tied up in the spare room.
There's just no... Well, let's be fair. I said in chat...
Brutal, Mito.
Is Caleb coming to the show? And Caleb didn't respond. Riv did.
Yeah, of course. You basically pulled me by proxy. It's fine.
I don't know what you guys are doing. Spare room. I don't know. Hey, remind everybody, how many days, Dirk, is it left to vote for the CSM?
2 days.
2 days.
2 days left to vote the party line.
Dos.
We're not going to talk about the CSM today, huh?
No, we just say vote the party line. That's it.
Okay. Thank God.
Okay, we're done. See, we had to cover that. That's, the big wigs. They used the bat phone. They said, Eric, make sure you remind everybody vote party line CSM or you're fired. So I got to do it. We're done.
Okay.
There you go.
I mean, we can't have Eric being fired. That just... Nah.
Yeah.
That would be too mean of us. If we're going to put up with this shit, he's going to put up with it too.
You might get something better. You never know. So, so how's everybody doing? Caleb, welcome back. Certainly, Orendis, how are you today? Kate and Dirk and Apple Pear.
Hi.
How are you all?
All right. So, first, just something that I think I need to say. All right. Last week, when we finished up, there was a bit of confusion and a bit of a misunderstanding. And I was maybe a little extra dickish to McLeod. And that was uncalled for, and I'm sorry.
I mean, you were so dickish that he left the server, so...
Right, so...
I was on the phone
brutal.
most of the time. I didn't really hear most of it, so...
Did you win?
But you know what?
Orendis,
That's really
did you
nice
win?
of you to say, Orendis, actually. I didn't know...
I mean...
I didn't... by the way, I didn't know Orendis was gonna do
McLeod
that,
stormed
guys.
out angry, so... You can... And Orendis is
He
still
left
here,
the server, so, I mean, I'm not going to say I won, because, obviously... This was not the optimal outcome. This is not something I wanted. I'm just going to say that,
Oh my god, we have
I was a
drama
dick.
on PTT.
I was a dick and shit happened. I'm sorry.
Okay, so we had last week a confusing show, and this week we just came back from a confusing fleet, so all kinds of confusion.
We
There was a confusing fleet, Apple.
Yeah, let's not get into it.
No,
We're not going to get into it.
All right.
It was just confusing.
I mean, you can't say something like that and then not get into it for those of us who were, at work or whatever.
No.
It's like
For
you
that-
come into the room, you make a mess, and you say, okay, I'm just going to leave.
No, see, Apple said it was a confusing fleet. I'm saying we're not going to get into it.
Okay, we're good.
And no more
Now I'm
people
being
are
a dick
confused.
to Apple.
No more people are confused, so that's only good.
There you go. We are in the land of confusion.
All right, so
Ooh.
Apple Pear just wants people to be confused today. I think he's
That's cool.
just going to be making nonsensical and exceptionally vague statements all show, and
Not that different from normal.
for one, I'm looking forward to this. Yes.
Oh,
When do it make sense?
I don't know. I thought Ernest
Usually.
was making sense last week.
But Dirk,
Okay.
blue cheese ice cream.
oh no! Please. Well, hold it. Do we have hot wing ice cream beside it? Maybe that would work.
I mean,
Yeah, you know, Eric, the blue cheese isn't actually for the wings.
What's it?
It's for the celery.
I know, but I like it on the wings. I don't.
I'm just saying, it's not actually for the wings.
But I like it on the wings.
That's
know what?
fine.
I was with a guy last night. And
Were
he-
you?
Yeah, I was.
Well.
Whoa. Let's take this.
You heard it here, folks.
But no. He goes. We're.
Does
at a
your
bar.
wife know?
Yes, she was there. By the way, making it even greater, right?
well then,
So no, he
Eric
goes.
having a really fun evening.
So he goes. So because we're in green, so we can go out to the
That's
bar
not
now, right?
social distancing.
No, well, we were social distancing maybe a little bit, but anyway, he goes to the bartender, right? He goes, "Hey, I want to order some wings, but I want them to put the the traditional hot wing sauce on it." And he goes, "And I want the garlic wing sauce on it with it too. Those look like really good wings. I'm going to try that sometime. Hot and the garlic on it."
I see.
So,
I thought
Eric,
it was a good
you want
combination.
hot
It's
garlicky
like
wings.
It's like white pizza and green olives. It's just perfect together. So
No,
I'm confused again.
No.
green olives are,
trust me,
an
green
abomination.
olives on white pizza. They're phenomenal.
Green olives are an
It's a
abomination.
Demord creation.
White pizza is an abomination.
All
I
pizza
can
is
take
good.
it or leave it, but olives.
I
you
even-
gotta go
I-
black olives.
I will even eat pineapple on my pizza. Okay, but there's a requirement: must have bacon. Has to be a true Hawaiian pizza. It has to have the bacon and the ham in order to be allowed.
Okay, yeah, that'll be fine. Yeah, I was
In
going to
order
say
to be
either
allowed.
bacon or ham, but
Yeah,
yeah,
gotta
both
have
of them definitely.
in order to have
I
the
can see
pineapple.
that. Yeah.
But both of them
no,
is great, but as long as you have the pineapple with it. Like,
No pineapple on pizza.
always pineapple on pizza.
No.
Well, not
Ah.
always. Not
That's-
always.
That's
but-
going a bit far there, Dirk.
Yeah, that really was a bit far, and I knew that the moment I said it.
Hold-
But like, pineapple on pizza is a fine thing. Apple.
It's not the pizza.
No.
It's the pineapple with any type of pig, right? You guys should try to do Hawaiian chops. It's amazing. Just roast the pineapples in curry, and then you fry it.
Sorry, what?
Yeah, the chops.
Roast the pineapple in curry.
Yes,
Sure,
in
why
curry,
not?
and then you do
Curried pineapple. Why not?
and then cream on top. So you make a cream sauce from that, or basically boil it down, and then you have it with pan breaded chops. It's amazing.
In my
I mean-
opinion, pineapple always should be cold and not warm because that's just better. I don't like warm pineapple.
Yeah, then you take a nice pan-seared pork chop and a side of like some roasted herbed potatoes and carrots and what have you, and then just on top of the pork chop, just to like top it off, just a nice cold pineapple ring.
Problem with pineapple is a bit like with avocados, right? The when they go ripe, it's the guessing game. It's like, is it ripe yet? No. Okay, now, and then it's dead.
See, I thought you were going to say that, the problem with pineapple being like avocado is that all the hipsters just keep trying to jam it down everybody's throat.
I do
No,
like
I
avocado. though.
heard a trick one. It's something to do with when you can pull the stalky things out without using a lot of force. It's actually ripe.
I mean, then you have to define what not a lot of force is.
You shouldn't need to yank it out there. So you should basically be able to just pull it out with hardly any force. It should almost let go by itself. These tricks, I've heard them before, and it's the same with avocado. When something with the bottom, when it's soft, you can actually tell that it has to be soft in a specific spot at the bottom, and if it's not ripe yet. But I always get when I buy these things, and then they just lie there and then they die. It's like bananas, like fucking useless fruit.
Bananas,
Bananas
actually,
don't last
one of the
long in our
top-selling
house.
fruit around. So, you know,
Is
it,
it a-
could, it may be useless, but really. At the very least, here in the UK, bananas are the top-selling impulse buy fruit around.
I mean, we go through a ton here. I don't eat bananas, but my wife and my kids do. They love them.
Amazing.
They're
Bananas
not
and
very
avocado.
keto. I can go for the avocado though.
Superfood.
Yeah, like, I mean, people won't buy you apples or oranges as much. They won't buy, you know, pears or tomatoes that much, but they walk past a bag of bananas or just some loose bananas, and my god, people will pick them up. And then they break our till systems. And we hate them.
People should buy apple pears.
People should... Whoa, Apple. Let's not go selling apple pears here. Like, that seems a bit morally grey, at the very least.
Well, hey.
By definition, it's a bastard, right?
Is there such a thing?
An apple pear.
Yeah, I gotta look that up.
I do believe that it is a true hybrid.
Wow, I have to try them.
I
Are they
mean-
really good?
Can we define it that way, Caleb?
The
Or would it
crunchy
just
gold
be a
apple pear.
a hybrid?
Yeah,
Because there's an inherent amount of, you know, emphasis on wedlock
try
if you
these,
start
man.
talking about fruits as bastards.
Apple pear, is that why you're named? Because you like apple pears?
no, it's because I needed a name and there was an apple and a pear on my desk. So
But an apple pear is an actual thing.
yes,
Okay, so we've got a question from Twitch chat.
Yeah.
How do you know these things from Sikandar? I'm not sure which things Sikandar's referring to,
I don't
but
know
I
either.
mean,
What-
how do we know these things?
because it's fun to know random facts. You read things and then
This is very true.
I'm gonna put this in here, man. There you go. Gold apple pear. It's a real thing. I've always been a fan of the pear and apples because we live by orchards where I am. So we were actually, when I grew up, we were sandwiched between 4 orchards right here where I live. 2 of them gone by the wayside, but 2 still remain. Yeah, we would go buy apples by the bushel. Get
And there's the chance to demonetize because there's nothing wrong with a good sandwich.
where do we talk about sandwiches? We're talking about apples
and pears.
and pears. We get.
I mean,
just on the street.
I suppose
we
you
can
could
go
put
get-
apple pears in sandwiches.
Yeah. The
An apple pear sandwich.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, that'd be good. You know, I like the meme of the the Big Mac, and it just has a bunch of pickles in it. I would buy that.
We should make an apple pear cake. That's much better than just apple cake.
So we take Sothersil's cider cake recipe, and instead of making it with apples, we make it with apple pears.
Yeah.
Yep.
That sounds like fun.
I think RJ nailed it. Apple pear sandwiches only happens in Vegas.
No. We could that could be a. I could see that being a poolside thing, man.
Any goon meat, to be honest.
In fairness, Mike, as much as I like cooking, I will say that probably the best cook in this channel is in fact apple pear.
Is he? Is he?
I'm just going to go out on a limb there because apple pear does make some really tasty stuff.
Thank you. We had some good food when we were in the farm.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like, so just for some vague context at least, Amsterdam 2017, I think that was now.
I think it was 2017.
Yeah. The Hogyoku guys all get a house together for Amsterdam, and like, you know, these places are like massive. We're talking about 12, 14, 15 people all in the same place. And Orenthor and I went
stop.
and stayed with them, and it was
Yeah,
good, great fun.
Yeah, we stayed in a farm, and they had like a sort of building with some apartments in it, etc., and like a big room where we like kitchen, living room area. And the funny thing is that was built into the stall where the cows were eating and all those kind of things. So we had like direct view on the cows that were like eating their stuff, and then later getting milked and all those kind of things. We had direct view on that while we were like making our breakfast or hanging around there, etc. So it was pretty fun.
There were windows and everything. It was sealed off. It was
sealed off by the-
entirely. It was entirely like completely sanitary, but yeah.
Did I make like chili there, or did I make like pasta? I don't remember anymore. I thought I made chili.
Shawarma.
Shawarma also, but that I did, but and chili, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that I did. Yeah.
But yeah, Apple's great. He makes some really nice food.
And we had a barbecue there.
Barbecue.
Yes,
Smoking
like
meat.
it was in November, so we had a barbecue outside in November, and etc. So that was pretty cool. It was just before the Rockall changers rolled out. Fuzzy was there. And
No, that's the year before.
Was that the year before that?
That was the year before. Yeah.
You let
Okay, I
Fuzzy
don't-
come in there?
Yeah, we had Fuzzy at one of them with Fuzzy, and Quant was there. Quant got drunk. You don't want to know. But yeah, that was pretty fun, and like we had some good cooking there and good food, so that makes it life a lot easier. And then we went to Easterdam from there and had amazing.
That's pretty cool. That's kind of the things you don't necessarily hear about that, people play Eve do, right? You guys get a whole house, you hang out together, you do the whole thing. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, and the last time we had Easterdam was last year, I think. Last year.
Yeah.
And that was like in April, and they announced it too late, so we couldn't get really something together. So everybody had to figure out their own stuff, but otherwise we would have rented another farm again and stay together and do the same thing.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah,
Very cool.
yeah, Easterdam is pretty cool. I like Easterdam. It's like a fun place to hang around and a lot of fun people, and everybody's mostly happy. So
Yeah, like Amsterdam's such a lovely place to be anyway. Such a chilled out city.
I have to disagree with you staying in Amsterdam, but that's just me. It's way too busy for me. So, but
To be fair, Amsterdam is a lot more relaxed and kind of sedate than places like, I don't know, London especially is always quite busy compared to Amsterdam. So yeah, I really like Amsterdam. And yeah, if as and when Amsterdam happens again, I look forward to being back.
yeah, we haven't heard anything about it. I suspect it will not happen this year, but maybe next year, because we haven't heard anything about it yet.
Yeah, I'd expect next year now again. But
It'll be
we shall
back
see.
after the AT.
Don't even joke about that. God.
How about Vegas? We got news on Vegas?
Vegas is slowly starting to open back up, I hear.
It is. They're slowly.
and-
I heard there was a lot
and
of
so-
pent-up demand for Vegas.
Yeah, there's rumors that things will be opening up again, kind of late July, early August, in a more serious way.
Mm-hmm.
At least that's what I've been hearing. I don't live there. I don't have access to the people there, but that's what I've been told. And so
Yeah.
Vegas is, at the very least, definitely still possible for on the cards. Just kind of waiting and seeing at
Advisable
this
is
point.
something else.
I will say that we did get word, Disney's opening all its timeshares and resorts by the 15th of July. Marriott's pretty much open as is. So, yeah, I mean, a lot of stuff is open in the U.S. as far as I know, and opening up more. So, we'll see. The other thing, no, let's not demonetize ourselves yet. Let's wait a few minutes.
Oh, right. You want to make it a special moment when we demonetize this week.
No.
Okay, I mean, we can do that. Normally, it's
No.
just a slapdash commentary that goes, oh, right, well, fuck, but,
Yeah, well, no, it's more fun this way. Let's see, what do we got? Apple pear pizza? No, Vast Gamer. No apple pear pizzas.
No fruit on pizzas. Outside tomatoes, because that's
But-
officially a fruit.
But Eric,
Hmm?
what about pineapple pear pizzas?
No. No pears. Although I do like roasted pears with chocolate and caramel. That's quite good.
Okay, so Mike's now referenced Dirk Serbfleet in chat, and I'm like, there's a couple of different ways I could take that, and, some of them are good and some of them aren't, so...
But I thought you're retired as an FC. You don't FC anymore, so
I'm not retired so much as, Jesus Christ, where is the time at the minute,
Yeah.
Apple?
you haven't been FC'd in years. So
I think the last time I FC'd something would be late last year. Yeah, it's been a while. Like, my life has become a mess of just busyness and bullshit.
No,
Sounds like my life.
no. Can't have this conversation yet.
Why can't we have this conversation yet?
Because FCing is part of Eve and we're only at 24 after.
Ah, right,
Oh,
yes, of course.
Yeah, 24 after. Well, I did try
6
and
more
eat,
minutes.
chocolate and caramel covered pineapples roasted, right? But no.
I mean, we could revert to the
I thought that was
Cannabis
chocolate
and Jonah conversation if we want.
The Jonah conversation. Holy hell. What the hell was that?
Oh yeah, you missed it because you were muted for most of it.
I heard some of it, and of course I referenced it in the ping, ancient texts and, plant life. And then accidentally didn't hit shift enter, hit enter.
Is that what that was about?
It was like, oh, damn it. I hit the wrong enter and sent the ping early. So, and normally I don't put the tag on it to send it to the ping. I type it out first in case I make that mistake. And I decided to wing it today, and that didn't work well.
So yeah, I think this is Caleb's section.
Yeah, I think
Well,
Caleb.
basically, I was reading the original Hebrew version of the Book of Jonah, and there's a strange plant in there, which is there's a lot of theories, right? And the point is that the term is kikayon, and no one has been able to figure out exactly what plant that is. And when I was reading it, my first thought, because of the whole context of the story, I won't go into that detail, is that this should be cannabis. This is exactly what this dude needs, because he's basically manic depressive, right? So this guy needs the herbs, right? So God gives him the herbs, and I've been sharing that theory with all my friends at the theology faculty, and they all found it a little bit weird. And then just today, in the news, the archaeologists have actually found proof that they used cannabis in ancient Judeo-Christian rituals. So I've been exonerated in every way. Now I just need to actually write the paper about it.
So basically what you're hearing there is Caleb is smugging the fuck up because ancient people used cannabis and, he picked it out of a book that really very few people ever bother to read, Caleb, just as a point. Like,
some people are required to read it. I think they're called priests and theologians, so they kind of read that text.
Are they required to read the entire book?
Well, I don't know if you have to read the entire book,
Like,
you have to at least read some of it.
Because at that point, I feel kind of disturbed because if they don't have to read the entire book, then I'm well on the way to any sort of qualification for that, having been through it a couple of times. Apart from Leviticus, Leviticus never fails to put me to sleep.
No, that goes for everyone, and the same. The point is that there's 3 degrees of reading the Bible. There's the academic one where you don't really have to read that much. You just have to cherry pick your favorite parts, and then you can sit there and be smart about it. The second one is, of course, to be an actual priest, an actual vicar. You have to read enough to know the broad strokes. And then there's the complete maniac version of reading it, which is pretty much what Jehovah's Witnesses are doing.
I think you forgot the Bible Belt, Caleb.
Well,
But that might be a bit too controversial.
They're in the same category. These are the nutters that pretty much read only that book, and all other books are not allowed, like complete nutcases. And then they completely misread it, and they do the cut and paste thing where they basically take everything out of context and use it for all manner of weird shit. And they can quote things very selectively. This is why every time the Jehovah's Witnesses come around, I let them in just because I find it hilarious to actually discuss this shit and ask them, so what sources are you using? What text are you doing? How are you translating the Greek? And usually that just gets them out.
In fairness, I don't ever let them in, but I will stand on the door chatting to them for 5 minutes.
You kind of need to let them in if you have to have a lot of different versions and texts on the table, and then showing them that they're being complete idiots.
I'm distracted over here by a whole website about apple pears, by the way, in case anybody's wondering.
Oh, have you just decided to?
Shocked.
I found the orchard that provides 60% of them in the U.S.
Dirk, you have to understand. You guys got to talking about cannabis, and Eric got the.
Yeah, apple pears, you know.
I mean, I don't blame him for getting the munchies, but I would hope he's at least, smoked a toke or two before he starts to develop it too badly.
No, man.
I
You do not get this body not eating ho-hos and Twinkies, baby.
I promise you guys, when I actually sit down and write the article about this, because it's going to be quite entertaining, I will link it to you so you can actually read it, because I'm also going to argue that a lot of the rituals is pretty much hotboxing.
In fairness, none of this is accurate or true anyway, because we all live in a simulation. But I do look forward to reading the simulated article.
Did you call me a simulacrum?
Yes.
Wow.
In fairness, I think I called all of us a simulacrum, but
Yeah.
Not necessarily. I mean, there'd have the whole point is there'd have to be something running the simulation at some point. So that would be the actual.
well,
There
yes,
might
but
actually be one real player, right? There might be one person being real. It's the extreme transhumanist solipsism in effect here. I think this must be Dirk mixing the two concepts.
well, no, because
no,
running
you
the
wouldn't-
simulation and being a part of the simulation are two very separate things.
Yeah, you wouldn't need to necessarily have any actual people hooked up to it. The whole idea of it is that you're simulating an entire planet's worth of people so that you can study behavior.
I think that's Douglas Adams' quote, but
Isn't that just what Riverworld was about?
It's what a lot of things are about.
Do you guys ever
But
read
yeah.
that series?
Hell, even Pierce Anthony touched on that concept. I mean, it's
Also,
when
isn't-
Pierce Anthony is writing it, it's basically done.
But Arendis, in the Douglas Adams thing, the mice are real, right?
Well, they're extra dimensional beings. You don't know how real they are. They could all be simulated.
True, but they are more real because they are the actual creators, right?
Are they?
Well, they build and manage the simulation. Right?
But they might actually be just constructs of
simulated.
something.
I mean, we don't know how far this rabbit hole goes, Caleb. Simulated
there's no
creators of a
guarantee.
simulated
There's no
reality.
guarantee that the mice are real.
Mike Flood is
by definition-
confused.
by
I
definition,
think
they're
he
not-
just confused a lot of people because they never really had the concept that that was a simulated world.
But the point is that there's a real aspect to it. Of course, they are not real, just like your avatar in a game and in a simulation is not real.
Whoa, whoa,
But
whoa,
the
whoa,
thing-
whoa, 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 whoa! My avatar is real.
No, it's just a big flashlight. Did we get much in
terrible.
one?
It's terrible. I feel bad now.
Yeah, you feel dirty. And it's understandable.
In fairness, your avatar does
Just
now
wash
have a
it
massive
off.
hole in front of it.
It's a real
And-
simulation. I like Stray Gag. I like that one. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, it's oxymoronic. But
Is it, or is it a simulation of a simulation?
Well, it's like, robots pretending they're humans, pretending they're robots.
Well, I mean, think about it. If, for example, like if the world is a simulation, then a game of Crusader Kings is a simulated.
That's right.
I just want to point out that
misquote Anne Rice. It's vampires pretending to be humans, pretending to be vampires.
No, I
Okay,
was
you should
referring
never
to an
quote
actual
Anne
thing.
Rice.
Yeah.
God.
Hey, I just did in an actual paper. It
I'm
was-
sorry.
That makes it even worse.
It was
But-
really good. I was quoting the God kills indiscriminately, and so shall we, because nothing on earth is as much like he.
Oh God.
I was writing about the God, so it was very fitting. It was very apropos.
I do just want to revisit real quick the fact that you suggested that the concept of a real simulation is oxymoronic.
By definition, it is. The actual sentence is oxymoronic.
It's a real simulation as opposed to a fake simulation.
A fake
I'm not sure we
simulation.
want to go into fake simulations, do we, guys?
Sure.
Well,
That's a
let's
video,
keep in
that's a- that-
let's keep in mind that something can be oxymoronic without being impossible. After all, most oxymorons are things that actually do happen.
Cool.
That's a fair point.
Now it's getting deep. Go, continue, Arendis.
That's a
please.
very fair point.
Give us some nice examples of this.
Well, for example, one of the classics, military intelligence really is a thing.
Yeah, but that's not really oxymoronic, is it?
It is
Yes.
to the military.
It's just moronic. It's not necessarily oxymoronic.
I actually had a guy Friday tell me he was in military intelligence once, and I'm like, okay, no,
Right.
be quiet.
Right, but something being oxymoronic does not inherently mean, for example, that it's paradoxical.
No, of course not. Paradoxical would be I always lie.
Right, but that's the thing that you can't have. So, yes, a real simulation, sure, no.
Brisk is coming in with jumbo shrimp. Got
There you go, Brisk. Jumbo shrimp are totally a thing. See?
Jumbo
Whoa.
shrimp and pineapple.
boiled
Are you-
shrimp.
Are you
Yeah,
together with
sure.
Boat, Brisk? Are you together with the big Boat because he likes big plates of shrimp?
No, because then Brisk wouldn't have any shrimp.
That's true. He should not be with Boat.
I mean,
love shrimp.
I'm assuming that Brisk's currently in the shower, so
Steam shrimp.
he may be steaming his shrimp in the shower.
Steam shrimp with low country spices.
I really don't want to know.
Well,
Bad
you never-
enough. It was bad enough I had to listen to you people going on and on about
You
apple pear
people!
sandwiches and goon meat and God.
You people, Jesus.
You people. Why is that
All
such a? Why is that such a thing? Why do people get upset when people say "you people"? That means you guys, not me. to me.
It's. I mean,
And clearly, Arendis doesn't find it.
the reason why a few people get vaguely
It has-
irritated
It has certain undertones when used against against members of other ethnic.
It's a form of othering, exactly, which is a generally frowned upon thing in most polite society. But
that's one I just don't get, because when I say, hey, when you people talk about blah, 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 it's like you guys in this channel with me. All you other people, not me. I don't understand. No, I just never found
yes, exactly. Not you. Specifically not you. You would not talk about this thing, and therefore, yeah, and some people take offense to it, and it's just
I was not talking about that stuff.
I mean, you very much were not.
No.
But it was kind of fun to confuse Eric for a minute there.
I love it.
And now we're back to Apple liking to confuse people.
All right.
You're welcome.
That's just going to be an undercurrent today.
It's confusion day today.
So, since we're after the half-hour mark, Dirk, how long has it been since you...
About 6 months, maybe 7 months. It was late last year, so we're talking about, like, probably early December, maybe through mid-November.
A couple more months, he could have baked a baby.
Don't say things like that. Children are not a thing that people should aspire to.
Oh, yes, they should.
Don't kick the baby.
Children are wonderful and precious things that go very well with ketchup.
Not as crunchy, though.
That depends entirely on how you prepare them.
Wow.
According to my...
Relax, Mike. You're not that appetizing.
Dirk, according to my logs, the last time you formed the fleet was... let's see when you were... It says 5 August 2019, according to my
logs. You
logs.
could have baked a baby by now.
The last time I did a fleet wasn't a main fleet. It was a common fleet thing. But, yeah, it was definitely last year. Anyway, the whole deal is, like, yeah, I've just been crazily busy with a bunch of real-life things. My degree for a while, and then my job, and... just generally, 2020, for one. I'm just literally going to lay that out there as generally 2020, generally 2020, well, fuck me. Just not a good year. This has not been a good year, and...
It's been so bad, he keeps trying to make it 2020.
Yes, indeed. But yes, it's one of those things where I haven't retired Apple. I've not said, hey, I'm done FCing. I'm absolutely not. I very much look forward to being able to come back to FCing when things are a bit more stable and, I actually have the time and energy to devote to it. But that's just not right now.
Doing the scarcity thing, and they fixed their market, and they've actually done something about super capitals, so we'll never see him.
Well, actually, I thought he was just waiting for the attacks on citadels to happen again, so he could stay up for 24 hours straight defending.
Nah. What I'm really, really waiting for is for Brisk to come through on his campaign promise and get me an Angel Titan.
Brisk, we need certain things with our monitor. Like, you're here now, and I can talk about it. We need to be able to reload our probes through the ammo hold, because it's so annoying to have to stack up your probes after you take them back and then drag them in your probe launcher so it can reload it. It should be able to just reload it from your ammo hold. Would be so much better.
I just want to point out,
and also,
real quick,
and also, I'm talking. Also, it would be very nice if we get like a small hold, then we can put some drugs in our monitor. It will make life also a lot happier.
I just want to point out that Apple Pear is talking about a ship that has been terrible since it was introduced, and he wants quality of life changes on it. Like, just pull the damn ship and give us FC rigs for our ships that make them tankier and do less damage. It's
Oh,
very simple.
I like that concept.
Like, the fact that they had to redesign an entire ship that is an absolutely horrendous SP sync to solve a problem of people being headshot was mind-blowing to me.
That's
and then
right,
the
Phil.
fact that they came out with it and it couldn't even do all of the things that FCs wanted it to do, because, just as a reminder, when it originally came out, it didn't even have an extra ammo hold for spare probes. Just, what the fuck? It was a bad ship to start with. It's a bad ship now.
6 months
And-
of training boosts just so you can not boost.
I was of course from the time I needed FC5 to give boost to the whole fleet. That's the first thing as soon as injectors came out.
Mm-hmm.
That's the first thing I injected. So I had FC5 on my ship, so I could FC full fleets with boosts. That was so much better to have that at one point. So, but that's something completely different. But yeah, that wasn't easy for me to get into it. But yeah. It's a hard terrain and a long train for a lot of people who start FCing, and basically for anything bigger than cruisers, especially since they killed the Legion with the power grid. Did it not power grid?
Yeah,
remove it?
the
Power
the
grid
Legion
remove
got fucked on power grid.
power grid, and also the resist nerf is possible not feasible to use a Legion anymore for armor fleets. So even for armor fleets, you fly the Monitor. So I pretty much for this deployment have two ships that I really use, the Monitor and the FC Jackdaw, and that's the only ships I use and really need to have. So that makes my life, of course, easier for that kind of thing, but I like to fly other ships as FC ships, but it's not feasible anymore.
Oh yeah, that completely... I did gloss over the fact that the Monitor, for some insane reason, has 45%, is it 46? It's somewhere in that ballpark, of its HP in shields, and the same amount in armor, and then the remainder in hull. So, let's just split it right down the middle as if that's fine.
Oh, it's fine. Like we have 92% resist, and if you then add slaves, or it's called amulets now because it cannot be called slaves anymore. If you then have amulets in your thing, then you have a pretty decent tank on your Monitor. So yeah,
It's just a bad ship.
it's a
It
ship
really
that
is.
works.
Speaking of, Zappy Boys on Tuesday.
Yes, indeed.
What's Zappy Boy?
New ships, Eric, is what it is.
New ships with shotgun chain lightning.
And is it useful or are they utterly shit?
Hard to say.
Okay.
Like
I
for
think-
some niche applications, the cruiser looks like it's going to be really, really fucking hilarious to use. The frigate has a good chance of being horribly overpowered, and the battleship might actually be the most destructive thing.
I mean, there is a little bit of a thing there, because these ships are significantly low DPS compared to anything else. But the fact that they do hit multiple targets, like if you're taking on a Rorqual now, and it's got drones out and doesn't have
They're a total. The
Depot or
frigate is a
whatever?
total counter for bombers.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That
I mean,
too.
lock one target, hit 5.
Also, like the concept of firewalls being, smart bombing cruisers or what have you that are designed to kill drones and whatever else. The frigate will probably be a very good firewalling option against drone fleets like Ishtar's.
Can we track and disrupt or missile disrupt that gun? Because it would be fun to disrupt that gun.
I'm gonna have to dig up the details from Suetonia's Reddit post, but he did mention. Dude, Suetonia went on CC and did a pretty significant dive into the new ships and kind of stopped to figure out what they could and couldn't do.
I just have a nervous laugh when anybody says Reddit. That's all. I mean,
That's fair.
Reddit.
Okay, so despite being a turret, the gun itself has explosion velocity and radius to decide what it applies to. Guidance computers and tracking computers do not work, so
They
you
do
can't
nothing.
increase the range or application of the gun.
Turn it
And
around, though.
It's also immune to tracking disruptors and guidance disruptors. However, he is not sure if this is a bug as yet. We're going to have to wait to see how it hits TQ before we can say whether or not it should.
Mm-hmm.
But
Reasonably sure that that's not a.
I'd be reasonably sure too.
What's really interesting is apparently somebody managed to put 6 of the medium guns on a Roke and got up to 1200 DPS.
What? Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure that number is for the target you're shooting at, not the other 4.
So that's effectively
Obscene.
6k DPS. for
Possibly.
a Rogue.
Possibly.
Because my understanding of the gun mechanics is that it applies the same amount of damage to all 5 targets.
Well,
See-
here's where it gets fun. Because it's one of those things where the ship is only designed to carry one of these, they don't stack. Like, you can't group them.
Well, no, but you will always hit the target that you have locked.
Right,
before it
but they
bounces.
may bounce differently.
Yeah, possibly. But, I mean, even so, that's 1200 applied DPS to whichever
main
ship
target,
you're targeting. Yeah.
Right. I just think these things are going to be interesting. I want to see how they actually shake out, but these things are definitely going to be interesting. The battleship-sized one, especially, this is going to be hell on logistic. Because every time it fires, 5 different people are going to suddenly start broadcasting.
But can you
And
also
that-
not? Can you also not have like people in your own fleet getting hit?
If you're within 10 kilometers of your target,
So if we brawl at 0 on them,
why would
And
you
they-
ever?
Because
Are you really?
brawling is fun, Horrendous. God damn it. I mean, have you not learned from the many years of FCs going, you know what? Fuck it, I'm gonna brawl.
Look,
You would think
I'm
that
not
you would
saying I'm not
finally have
saying
figured
brawling isn't fun. I'm just saying with these weapons, why would
yeah,
Oh, you wouldn't. But I'm not expecting these ships or even these weapon systems to be the main line of a fleet. I'd expect them to be on a small number of support pilots who we would generally expect to know what they're doing, but then again, this is goons.
No, see, Dirk, that's just it. Like, here's what I'm talking about, though. All right. So you've got, say, 30 of these things. Okay. You target one guy in the enemy fleet. 30 of these things fire off. How many people get
I mean, that's
somewhere
a
between?
very good question.
Somewhere between 4 and 120.
5. Because there are one main target and then an
4
additional
bounces. Right.
So,
So the
th-
bounces.
So how many people
are
get
somewhere-
hit?
No, I
5.
didn't say how many get hit. I said how many get bounced. How many
Oh.
get the bounces? Somewhere between 4 and 120.
Yeah.
So if that happens to your fleet, how well does your logic keep up when suddenly 120 people think they're prime? This is going to be
Well.
insane.
See, this is why I understood the the actual specifically Edencom ships to have such a low DPS to begin with. You know, the T1 frigate is apparently maxing out at somewhere in the region of like 60 DPS.
Yeah.
With T2 ammo. So like 60
got
DPS spread across.
But it's got a decent alpha.
It does.
For its side. And that's really the issue that's going to happen. So you've got, say, let's just call it 20 people who suddenly take a reasonably heavy hit, and they're going to scream for help.
Oh, they're all going to scream. Like, this doesn't even have the like, additional bit of broadcast shield if you got bomb damage, because you're not going to know if it was bomb damage or if it was a target hit.
So basically, this is because it has a high DPS, it's a multi-target artillery.
It's a shotgun. It's basically the analogy that I heard somebody use was this is basically a hunter's scatter shot from WoW.
Yes, exactly, Brisk. It's not 60 DPS spread across 5, it's 60 DPS times 5. So it's effectively 300, but the actual DPS of the weapon itself is 60 DPS spread across targets. You have 60 DPS on every target. And
Brisk,
that's not even true because it bounces randomly across 4.
Brisk, I don't know that the Rogue would be firing out to 140 and hitting 30 ships, because to get more than 2 of these things on a non-Edencom battleship is impossible. Trust me, I tried. So you have to use the mediums to do that, and those don't have that.
But what are the range on the guns then?
At skill 3, the mediums get out to about 80.
80?
Yeah. 89.
You really need to have tracking disruptors for that.
Except it doesn't work.
That's stupid. Like, you should be able to at least have some counterplay to that.
By the way, if you build the cruiser wrong the right way, that 89 kilometers is while the cruiser is doing 4,400 meters per second. It's got the power grid where if you fit the lows improperly, you can do a 500 meganewton micro-warp.
Okay.
So we're thinking about buying a couple?
Well, apparently we're going to get the skills for free.
There you go.
And
as part of the login thing.
And is this viable by Concord LP or something, the blueprints?
Don't know yet. They haven't told us that.
Incursion people would be very happy if they do it.
It might require Edencom standings, which means you'd have to go in and fight the Trig. And not in the Abyss. You'd have to go into the sites in like HiSec and...
Oh no, grindy PvE.
Well, keep in mind, Eric, as soon as they go to first liminality, they're low sec. So
Still.
what I'm waiting for is one of these things to hit someplace adjacent to existing low sec, so we can find out if once it drops to an effective 0.4 or lower, you can gate capitals in, because you can't let...
That'd be interesting.
Wouldn't it?
Yeah,
Yes.
that would be interesting.
And yes, Brisk is right. There are way more skills for this than for the trig ships. You've got the skill for each ship, right? You've got frigate, cruiser, and battleship. Then you've got each gun size. You've got a skill to operate the guns themselves, like before the gun size, like a gun, basically the version of gunnery. Then you've got something equivalent to rapid fire and something equivalent to the tracking skills. So there's like a total of 12 skills involved in this after the specializations.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's pretty significant. I do just want to say, though, by the way, that according to CCP, all of those skills will be available to you if you do the full login reward next week. I think it starts next week.
I think it starts Tuesday.
Yeah, so there's going to be a login reward, and you will have to log in for 5 days of the full login reward. And if you log in for a full 5 days of that reward, you get all the skills.
Well,
They're just going to be handed to you on Omega characters. On Omega characters.
Right.
You're still going to have to put the SP in and the time, but yeah.
Yeah, it's going to take, to get to straight 3s takes about 400,000 SP.
And how far can the ships target out? Do you have a same targeting range also?
It's not crazy.
Far enough to use the guns that way.
Apparently, the T2 long-range ammo on the battleship hits out to 144 kilometers, which is kind of crazy. But the short-range T2 ammo only does up to 40k. And then the T2 close range on the frigate is only, 12. So...
And just like the Trigs, there is no follow-up.
Yeah, it's like, that's your range and that's it. Go beyond it and you're done. Which I'm not opposed to as a situation, to be fair. With the Trigs, there's definitely the kind of counterplay that you have with being able to track and disrupt that and really push that distance down. And that's how you can kind of counteract their sheer DPS a bit. These ships don't seem to have the same level of DPS, just the alpha concerns that Arendis has already talked about. So I'm kind of okay with this. Apparently that the T2 long range is only applying 220 DPS to a single ship at that range, which is... Yeah, it's not huge. I've not looked at the specific cycle time, but it's not massive.
I thought CCP totally didn't change some ammo types damage to get people to brawl a bit more and get away from all the kitey bullshit that is there at the moment.
Hey,
I don't think this is intended to be kitey. I just, put a 500 meganewton micro warp drive on the cruiser. That's always going to be kitey. That will just move fat.
Yes.
I just want to point out that CCP changed a few different ammo types by, 10% additional DPS? 15%? It wasn't much, and CCP did that thinking that it would make people brawl again, showing that CCP have a horrendous understanding of how we actually get to the doctrines that kite around and why we use them.
Eric, I just tossed something in stab only for you.
Ooh. Oh, that's cool. That actually does look really cool.
Those are the mediums on the...
Those are the mediums, right?
Yeah,
Wow.
The larges are fucking huge. And so these things clearly have the advantage of, in addition to that stuff, and, I don't know if you want to put that up on screen there, Eric.
Let me see what I can do here.
These things
we've all
also
just
have the
exclaimed about it, so
Right.
we should.
These things also have the advantage of being able to pick up VHF at 3-star systems away.
I'm gonna.
Oh no, you've got to show them after that comment.
I am.
Alright,
I am.
come on.
I'm just working on. I'm gonna save it here, and get it in there.
In fairness,
Are you going to name one of the fleets the Dowsing Fleet?
I don't know.
That looks like fucking dowsing rod.
Marana might be very annoyed. She doesn't like it when fleets have strange names.
I mean, to be fair, we have to figure out whether or not these things are going to be fleet worthy in the first place.
This is just gonna pop up on the screen, guys. So we'll just.
That depends on how they are getting spread out. Like if they're in the Concord LP store, then they probably can be enough of them arrive to be in fleets. But if it's very hard to get them, then there will be no way we can make them in Goonswarm fleet because there are not enough available.
Yeah, my full expectation of this is that it will be very much like the Confessor in a lot of our fleets. You know,
I just like the run.
By the way, when you go into warp, the antennas telescope in and then fold.
That's cool.
All right, I'm getting
Also-
pinged.
All right,
Oh.
I gotta head out because you know.
And we got to run around, do one last thing, and get out of here. I'm gonna.
Brisk, you guys have smaller numbers than we have with the Kikis. I think we have the Kikis now to the doctrine, to add it to a doctrine, and they are there now enough. But if we would like make that a mainline doctrine, I don't know how long we can.
Oh yeah, like if we decided to go in on like replacing jackdaws with Kikimoras, we'd kill the market in about 2 months, if that.
But I love the jackdaw.
The jackdaw's great fun. I do prefer the Confessor personally. The Confessor is just more fun to me. It has a different way of working, but the jackdaw works for like kitey go fast bullshit. And yeah, like I say, if Goonswarm made the Kikimora an actual mainline doctrine and replaced our primary destroyer doctrine with it, we'd just kill the market in
True.
short order. It would not take long.
Alrighty. Well, like Arenas, I have a meeting to go to, so we got to run around and do our one last thing. So let's start with Apple Pear.
Hi, bye.
There he goes.
Well, join Jeff. Shoot bad people. Have fun.
Alrighty, Caleb.
Oh, don't get me on anything. I'm just a console scrub.
Yeah, we forgot to go into that whole deconstruction of you and loss of respect that the entire team had for you for playing console games. I understand. We'll do that next
We'll
time.
have to deal with that next week if he can stomach dragging himself away from his precious console.
I should be done with my second exam, and I should be headstrong into Egypt next weekend.
So we can't expect to see you then.
Oh yeah. I'll drop in and give you a bit of a recap of how awesome it is to ride camels and stab people in the back.
All right, there we go, guys. Like Twitch chat, you all heard it. He promised.
He did. Dirk.
If he doesn't turn up, we'll have Reaver beat him. It's fine.
No kink shaming.
I wasn't kink shaming. I was just saying that we'd have her beat you. I didn't say that you'd
We're
enjoy
trying
it.
to do
Come
you a
on.
favor, for crying out loud. We're trying to help you.
Jesus.
Jeez, people are so sensitive.
All of these assumptions, man.
Jeez, can't believe it.
So yeah, my one last thing. Vote for CSM. Vote your conscience. Vote the party line.
Your conscience is Brisk Rubal.
So,
My party line is
Dirk
Brisk Rubal. I don't know
stole
what you're
most of
talking
my
about.
one last thing, but I will just add, because it's completely legal, vote often and many times. That's it. That's all I got. Everybody say bye.
See you later, guys.
Bye.
See you guys.